Being self-critical as a rider can lead us to much more understanding of our mistakes, can make us more accountable, can hopefully make us more flexible and adaptable, and making sure that we realize where our patterns are going, making sure our habits are lining up with our goals, and can have a lot of beneficial things for us as a rider. There's so many wonderful things that come out of being self-critical. It allows us to see what we want to improve, to allows us to be able to understand hopefully mistakes, and allows us to understand data, and allows us to making sure our data is lining up with the goal that we're setting. And yet, being too self-critical can be the detriment of everything. It can make us stuck. It can make us unable to come to terms with the fact that, improvement comes from growth, and growth often comes from making mistakes. Growth comes from figuring things out. Growth comes from not understanding something and learning something new, and then discovering how to use it at its best and what the best form is, and does it even work in every situation. So being too self-critical is almost, if not worse, than being totally blasé. So we think of being self-critical as our quest for perfection, and yet being too self-critical bogs us down into self-loathing, feeling that we are constantly never worthy of being able to improve, never able to improve. Often outside factors that shouldn't be weighed down are added to the fact that this is proof that all is not possible, because weather is taken into effect, soreness, lameness, things that sometimes are totally outside our control. In other words, we all know that horses have an amazing ability in the safest of paddocks, in the safest of conditions, in the safest of routines, can still injure themselves. And yet sometimes we take that as a personal reflection that our self-critical mind is that this wasn't possible, and this means that all our plans are now thrown out because that made us not worthy. So how we use the ingredient of being self-critical really weighs down, is it our greatest asset or is it our biggest anchor? And we have to check in sometimes, because self-critical can be such a really positive thing, but it can also slide down into overanalyzing, getting weighed down by any mistakes that we're having, not understanding what is possible, not understanding what is simply a mistake, what is something that is outside our control, rather than a learning process. Instead of making us more accountable, it weighs us down with what we haven't done. Not looking forward, it's weighed down by looking back. So self-critical looking forward is vastly different to self-critical looking back and being weighed down by the past, rather than self-critical and changing and adapting, taking on new information and moving forward in our riding, and moving forward in our partnership, and moving forward in what we want to do, and staying realistic with the goal that we're setting and staying on track. If we think of self-critical in a past tense, then our future is destined to be repeated. So self-critical can be a wonderful thing. It can really add a lot of things to our riding, and a lot of things to our partnership, and a lot of things to our understanding of what we're trying to do. But it also can be an anchor that never lets us break our past cycles. So think of that ingredient that you have as self-critical, and when you think of it as self-improvement or the search to do better, but is it better looking forward or weighing down from the past? Because those two things are very different, and then we can get very unkind and very attached to our mistakes, rather than seeing them as data points to I can improve from. Keep that on mind next time that you're thinking you're being self-critical towards improvement. Is the ingredient of self-critical being used intentionally to improve, or intentionally as an excuse to weigh ourselves down and to put a handbrake and things aren't possible. Let me know how you use that ingredient of being self-critical, and do you use it in a future sense of shaping the future you want, or in a past sense weighed down to repeating patterns. Take care, and I'll see you on the next video.